this means nothing to anyone listening, but I don't think I've ever crossed my legs to record an R2-BD before.
I was wondering, are you going to be comfortable like that?
I think I could do this. I can't move too much because this chair's kind of getting kind of creaky and it's older age. But no, I think I could do all right. Welcome to R2-BD, friends. I'm Joey.
I'm Jacob.
We are brothers. We like Star Wars. We talk about Star Wars. Today we're talking about Star Wars, if you can believe it. Today...
Oh, we're talking about Star Wars today?
Yeah, if you can believe it. It's a Friday one. It's not a Friday. No, it is. Today's a Friday.
Today's a Friday.
Today's a Friday once again. Yeah.
The recording day is a Friday.
The recording day is a Friday. No, I want to put this up on a Friday, so it's... I don't know. We'll see. I already gave up on the cross-leg thing.
I thought so.
One leg is crossed in. Anyway, we've also never recorded R2-BD on a time constraint before, I don't think.
Yeah, no. We have never had to do it on a day where we have other things we need to get to, like, importantly.
Yeah, so if this episode is longer than, like, 45 minutes, if you're looking at that right now, at the timestamp below, we failed. We failed our mission.
Failed.
We failed our mission.
But it is likely not going to be, because our comic discussions are usually not that long.
A good transition. We're talking about comics today. Today we're continuing Darth Vader by Kieran Gillen. And actually a pretty short volume of Darth Vader by Kieran Gillen. It's only 5 issues.
Yes, it's not even long to begin with.
It's a very singular story. This is volume 3 of Darth Vader, the Shu-Torun War. I'm going to kind of go right into this with, like, just, I think probably the best Vader volume we've read so far.
Oh, easily.
Like, my God, this is awesome. I was really into this. It's, like, it didn't, like, completely blow my mind, but I mean, like, it's... I think this is probably the strongest material from the Gillen run so far.
I think that has a lot to do with the fact we're not we are watching Vader in his big, like, overarching, like, character growth he's going through. If Vader could be said to have any.
Yeah.
But it's because this is so singular a storyline.
Mm-hmm.
We're not stretching Vader's story out from volume to volume.
Yeah.
We are watching a very specific series of events that make for a nice, tight story.
Mm-hmm. I think there's also something to be said for the fact that this is, in my opinion, the first truly, like, standalone volume of Vader. Like, I don't think I need to read any of the Vader that came before this to understand this volume, which I think is pretty important. And also, it's not really trying to tie into, like, other comics. Like, clearly one of the first things they said when they said, oh, we're going to have a Star Wars title and a Darth Vader title, and what we're going to do eventually is we're going to cross them over. Mm-hmm. And now that crossover is over. This is the first Vader comic to happen after Vader Down. And... It's very freeing, kind of. It's very much its own thing.
Mm-hmm. It feels like we've crossed the biggest hurdle the Vader comic was moving towards.
Yeah, it does have, like, the tiniest bit of crossover in one way towards the end, but that's, like, realistically, it's about Dr. Aphra.
Yeah.
Realistically, you don't need Rebel Jail, which we covered last episode of R2-BD. Check that out. You don't need Rebel Jail, but you do need to listen to all of R2-BD. You don't need Rebel Jail to understand this comic, I think.
No, honestly, if anything, if you don't know where Aphra is at, it's more interesting.
Yeah, actually.
There is one thing I think that you might lose if you were, like, just gave this issue, this volume to someone.
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't know who Aphra is, obviously. But more importantly, I think the biggest thing one would be confused about is all of the faux rivals Vader has. Specifically the twins.
Yeah. Wait, I don't remember the twins from previous volumes. I don't remember them too well, at least. No,
they're sort of the last stragglers of of that group.
Yeah.
Vader slowly had been picking off the rest of them.
Yeah. You know, actually, on other characters, have we seen B-Box before? I wrote down B-Box, and I feel like we've seen B-Box before. The one that... Also, this is a spoiler discussion, like all of our R2-BD episodes are. If you haven't read this volume, sorry. But Vader kills B-Box, and I feel like we've seen B-Box before.
We probably have.
Let me see.
There's been a big enough of a break for, like, in our Vader reading that I can't immediately recall.
I'm going to check on my notes. Vader, let's see, Volume 1, oh wait, hang on, I have a list of... This is back when I used to list characters. Maybe I should have continued that.
Maybe. That would make us question a lot less if there was a specific character in a volume.
Doing that. Shadows and Secrets, B-Box. I have B-Box written down, so apparently we've seen that bounty hunter before. Okay. That's the one that Vader kills because he claims that he killed Aphra and he didn't actually do it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny. But what is the Shu-Torun War actually about? Because I find this really interesting. It is this idea that, first off, we have yet another annual at the start of this volume, like we did in Rebel Jail. We have Vader Annual number 1. That takes place presumably sometime before the events of most of this comic.
It seems like it takes place sort of just before Vader Down.
Yeah, probably, yeah. Because he's still working with 000 and BT.
Yeah.
Unless it's...
The annual feels like it takes place before Vader Down.
Because he's still... He never mentions Aphra in it, though.
No, but I as I read it, there felt like enough context clues, and now I can't immediately recall what those context clues were.
Yeah, maybe. So yeah, we have an annual here that sort of like establishes Vader's working relationship with Shu-Torun. Shu-Torun is this sort of like mining planet, and very Mustafar-esque, which is very important to the themes that Gillen is playing with throughout a lot of this volume.
I like the setup of this planet where it's got like a central royal family and all of these what are they, barons?
Or barons, yeah.
These Aura barons who are like the rich and powerful that are ultimately responsible for getting the minerals to the Empire.
Yeah. They serve the Empire. They are loyal to the Empire, but also...
But they are quote-unquote loyal
to the Empire. But, importantly, as all of the Star Wars and Vader comics we've read so far have established, this is after A New Hope. The Death Star has been destroyed. There is a sort of renewed hope in the galaxy, and some people are getting some big ideas about standing up to the Empire. And
say everyone on this planet.
Yeah. And so someone like Darth Vader is like, we're going to put these people in their place. And we've talked about this before, because a lot of the Vader comic by Kieran Gillen, and it is the shortest Vader run out there, post 2015, like post the reacquisition of the Star Wars rights by Marvel Comics. This is the shortest Vader run, because we'll be finishing it in 2 episodes' time.
Yeah.
This is the shortest one, because I will admit that I do find sometimes me thinking that like there aren't a ton of places to go with Vader as a character in this time frame, because this is a version of Vader that has failed the Empire. The Death Star has been destroyed, and Vader is kind of meant to be kind of a chump right now. Like the Emperor is doubting his abilities.
The Emperor is very much like, you have failed me a couple times now in a row.
There were a couple instances in the previous 2 volumes where like the Emperor just tried to kill Vader because he just didn't see it was useful anymore.
I would love to know how that would fit into like episode 6 Palpatine's grand plan. Like if you could interview Palpatine in episode 6 and go, so you tried killing Vader a few times early on. How did he?
Let's keep in mind that like Vader's importance to Palpatine's plan is really just the ushering in of the Empire. Once that's happened, he technically doesn't need the guy.
Yeah, I mean, he does refer to him as his enforcer of all things.
Yeah.
Which is a position I'm pretty sure I've read before through this comic. But it's interesting to think about Vader in that way.
Yeah.
Not as like a big bad guy. He's just an enforcer to the big bad guy.
Yeah. But so Vader is kind of going around putting people in their place, post New Hope, to extinguish that hope. There are a lot of great scenes in the annual itself, but really it's just to establish that like once Vader puts this planet in its place, there's this king that is trying to rebel against the Empire, trying to kill Vader while he's visiting Shu-Torun. And 000 and BT are here as well, who are lovely, of course.
Are lovely.
Lovely as always. Doing all kinds of murder and torture, and we love them. I love that because they're droids, they're just able to infiltrate this king's guard, essentially.
Yeah, they could walk pretty much anywhere.
Yeah.
And throughout this whole annual, which is my favorite thing, Vader's just walking around with the youngest daughter of this royal family.
Princess Trios.
Princess Trios, who is basically just stalling for as long as humanly possible for every trap to kill him.
Yeah. I do also love, my god, the thing early on of Vader dancing.
That was so good.
He just straight up kills the person. He's like, no, I'm dancing. Does anyone else want to dance with me?
No, I know. His line is so good. Who wants to be my next partner?
Yes.
I think.
It's so good. It's a great moment. I just want to take a moment to call out some of the artists on this comic that I really, really enjoyed. Most of the art throughout it is done by Salvador Larroca, who has done most of the run so far. Linnell Francis Yu does the annual, and also our cover artists throughout most of the run are Care Andrews and Mark Brooks. Care Andrews in particular, who does what ends up being like the volume cover of this collection,
Shu-Torun
War, Shu-Torun War, who I'm pretty sure, I'm gonna look it up right now because I'm pretty sure it's the guy. Carriage is I'm pretty sure is like the Star Wars poster guy, or was the Star Wars poster guy for a while. I'm just gonna make sure I'm right about this, but vamping in the meantime. Let's see.
Either way, regardless, it's all wonderful art that I'm sure we have used as on screen at some point.
Oh, is he not the Star Wars poster guy? He's not the Star Wars poster guy. He just has a very similar style to a lot of
Star Wars, like the Star Wars poster art.
Yeah, a lot
style.
of I always refer to them as like the very much the like George Lucas era Star Wars posters. You know what I mean?
Yes.
The style of art that makes up like the prequel posters. Definitely those. I had this wonderful poster up in my room as a kid of a shit ton of like Star Wars characters, specifically from episodes 1 through 6.
Oh yes.
You remember that poster?
I do remember that poster.
It's that style. It's very much that style. Very similar style that I really love. Some fantastic artists on this run in general. But yeah, so the annual also is establishing that, like, once the king is dead, once this whole family is dead, essentially, Princess Trios is the only one that remains. And Vader kind of compliments her for, like, being, willing to sacrifice herself, essentially, because she's the one being thrown to the wolves here, essentially.
Yeah, the shortest version to explain why Vader is complimenting her ability for self-sacrifice is there's a lava trap, where theoretically Vader will die, but so will the king's youngest daughter.
Yeah, and so Vader's able to get them out of there, and he cuts off her hand, because, I guess you wouldn't be a proper Star Wars character if you didn't lose a hand.
If you
specifically
your
right hand
limbs.
at some point. Specifically your right hand, of course. But yeah, so then she is sort of put in her place, and she is made queen. And she, through her time with Vader, he believes her to be loyal. And she is. She very much is, as the rest of the collection will go on to show.
It also helps that Vader this whole time has been carrying a little gift box.
Oh, I love it. It's so good. It's such a good
He has
moment.
brought a gift to the royal family to tell them, stay in line.
It's one of those things where it's like, because this is post A New Hope, it's easy to like take that to mean, oh yeah, the galaxy's hope is renewed. The Death Star has been destroyed. The Empire's greatest weapon is extinguished, and we now have a chance. But also, in that exact same span of time, the exact same amount of days that it took to destroy the Death Star also destroyed an entire planet. And so Vader brings Queen Trios a piece of Alderaan.
Like a literal chunk of rock.
So good. Great fucking moment. So the annual happens. It's implied to happen at some time ago. And we go to the main issues, issues 16 through 19, where technically the main story, takes place. We catch up with Vader, who brings Commander Carbon's body to the Emperor.
Yes.
Because, that all happened to Vader down, which is very funny. And so the Emperor says, hey, remember when you were there on Shu-Torun? The readers of the collections just read this. They're aware of this now.
Do you remember Vader? It's like having a flashback from like 2 scenes ago.
Yeah. Here's the thing though, because again, like the annual would have come out, a number of months ago. At the time of this coming out. But for us, we're reading the collections, so it's like it's all here. We literally just read it. But yeah, so he's like, people of Shu-Torun are rebelling. I need you to go back there and put them back in their fucking place.
All the time, Vader is like, Emperor, my God, why are you testing me? What's happening? And Emperor is always like, I will tell you later.
Yes. Importantly, the last volume of Vader is called End of Games. So it's whatever the fuck like Palpatine's been planning this whole time is what's about to happen here. I don't think it will be a direct lead into Empire Strikes Back, because this run got cut off with about like at like issue 20, 24, 25, something like that. But the first Star Wars run went up to like issue 75 or 50. It's one of those two. It went a really long time though.
It went on a long time, so the Vader run just got cut off earlier, I suppose.
And so that'll be the more direct lead in Empire. But this is I'm not sure where that last volume will lead us. I imagine it'll mostly be about like Vader's relationship with Palpatine towards the end here. But yeah, we shall see. But yeah, Vader goes back to Shu-Torun. We get like a sort of like reestablishment of his relationship with Queen Trios and how she is trying to squash this rebellion that is rising up on Shu-Torun. And
of all of the oil, the oil. I guess that's not terribly wrong, but the
ore
Aura Barons who
You hear ore barons. You want to substitute oil in there as well because we have oil barons. I guess, are there ore barons in our world? I don't think there are. I've never heard of an ore baron.
Neither
I've heard
have
of
I.
an oil baron. I also think of that fucking SNL skit with Adam Driver.
Oh yeah.
Hear me now, children, for my occupation is of much import. Who is H.R. Pickens? Exactly. If you've never seen it, it's so good.
But no, like the ore barons, who were the ones wanting to kill Vader, surprise, surprise, are rebelling.
Yes, of course. All the while, Vader has a little side project going on here. He is sending his bounty hunter squad, most of the bounty hunters from the last volume, as well as ones that we're eventually going to see in Empire. I wrote down a couple. Obviously, we see Zuckuss and Dengar, which is kind of fun. No Forlom, though. Where is Forlom? Is there a Zuckuss without Forlom? I always assumed, I don't know if this is the case, I always assumed Zuckuss and Forlom came in a pair. Because I always heard their names together.
Yeah, they always felt that way.
Yeah.
But what it is, I suppose. I guess
this is also like prime Glip Shido talk right here. like I don't know. I know where Forlom's name comes from. I think we've talked about this on R2-BD before.
You probably have.
Do you remember this story? Because he might have been in.
Oh yes, I do remember this story.
Do you remember what Forlom stands for?
Oh God, I can't picture it, but I know we've talked about it.
It's funny. So essentially, back when is Forlom in Skywalker Strikes Me? I think he's in Skywalker Strikes.
Skywalker Strikes.
Did we talk about Forlom in our very first episode of R2-BD? Okay. That's pretty funny. I'm going to read this back around, though, because you forgot it. Forlom stands for... Okay, the story goes, we don't know that this is exactly what it means, but...
Legend has it, so to speak.
Legend has it. Legends has it, I suppose. Legend has it that they were coming up with names for all these random toys, because, the Kenner deal for the first Star Wars was really huge, so they did even more for the second movie, for Empire.
Obviously.
They had the Forlom toy, and they gave him a name, and the legend goes that Kenner came up with the name Forlom, not Lucas, not Lawrence Kasdan, nobody like that. But the rumor goes that Kenner made up the name because it stands for, supposedly, for the love of money.
That sounds right. I know.
Which I wouldn't look. It's a little ridiculous, but I also wouldn't doubt it either.
Yeah,
I can see that being the case. Anyway, Forlom's not here. I don't know why I brought up Forlom. I know why I brought up Forlom.
Yeah, because he's not here.
Because he's not with Zuckuss, and I feel like they just belong together. I could be wrong. Anyway, so we have our bounty hunters. They're going after. They're trying to find.
They're trying to find Aphra.
Trying to find Aphra. So we get her whole B-box find. Supposedly kills Aphra, brings like her bones and disintegrated remains to Vader, and he's like, "No, this isn't Aphra." First off, how does he know that? Does he mention how he knows that? I mean, obviously we know he's right.
Yeah, we know he's correct.
We know he's right, but I just want proof.
I don't know. I don't think he actually knows for sure. I think he's just going with his gut, going, no. You would have brought Aphra.
Yeah.
She would have come pretty willingly, all things considered.
Yeah, that's fair. I'll be curious to see though, because we had Aphra leaving the Rebel jail, getting kicked out of there by Leia and Sena. And I'll be curious to see how much of that is important to End of Games in our last Vader volume. Importantly, coming up on R2-BD, we're covering Volume 4 of the Star Wars title, which is Last Flight of the Harbinger, I think it's called.
That sounds right.
And then we'll be covering Volume 4 of Vader, End of Games. So those will be the next 2 episodes of R2-BD. Anyway, I have a lot of scenes here of like Vader throwing down, fighting the Ore Barons. A lot of great art in here.
A lot of phenomenal art, yeah.
Really good. Personally, on these other Vader characters here, I have a note here that just says Grand General Tag is boring. I never find him an interesting character, personally.
That's fair.
He came back in, so I was like, oh, that's right. He exists, I guess.
Honestly, I had a pretty similar reaction.
Yeah, he's like... He's just there as this kind of generic foil of like, ooh, somebody's watching after Vader for the Emperor, and it's like, I don't know. Personally, I don't know why the first Vader volume was canceled and immediately replaced by one that takes place between Revenge of the Sith and New Hope. I'm not sure why. I know that one is really popular, the Charles Soule one. Mm-hmm. Maybe because it's Charles Soule. It's Charles fucking Soule.
It's Charles Soule, so that he's probably popular. And if I were speculating, it's a more interesting time period to tell Vader stories in.
Yeah, well, exactly, because, I mean, sure. Moral quibbles about loving the Nazi characters aside, you'll read a Darth Vader book. I think you'll want to see Darth Vader be awesome in Darth Vader. And, and perhaps a time period where Vader is kind of looked down upon by the Empire isn't the most interesting point to see the character at.
No. That's kind of like part of what this book even says. It's like there's like not exactly in that sentiment, but at some point in this book, one character says to another, Darth Vader wins battles, not a war.
Yeah.
Like, that is to say, like, that's how the Empire is kind of viewing Vader right now. He is good in singular moments.
Yeah.
The Empire, on a foot soldier level, does not appear to view Vader as a long-term solution to anything.
Yeah. But also, they did view the Death Star as a long-term solution, and Vader lost that Death Star. So, I guess, because that's the thing is, like, you know, if Tarkin dies on the Death Star, the blame doesn't really fall on him, because he's dead.
Yeah, he's dead.
The blame,
that's true.
The blame turns to Vader, and that's what runs out. And again, it's interesting for a time, but also, I want to see Darth Vader be cool. And I know that sounds really lame of me to say as a fan, but, like, I want to see Darth Vader be cool. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, so honest, Vader being cool is just something that I don't think I need a lot of explanation to justify.
Yeah, right? Yeah, once again, like, there's... I know, obviously, there's so much to be said about the fact that the Empire and Darth Vader and the Stormtroopers are based on actual, real fucking Nazis. But I want to see these guys be cool. I don't know, like, God, it's just...
Okay, do you know why I think we say that? Because we're reading his comic.
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, also, like, it's just... I don't know.
Like, because
it's a tricky thing.
Because if Vader in his comics is losing a lot, do we even want to read it?
Yeah, I mean, he's not losing here consistently. We're seeing him, regain his status, essentially.
Yeah. He almost seems to gain, like, confidence back in himself. I'm not that Vader ever really lost it. But I think as he justifies to himself and the Emperor that, like, no. I'm the only guy here. You know? Everyone else I could prove is a traitor now.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about this one fascinating scene towards the end. I think it's in the second to last issue. Further, this is after, like, you know, Silo students and the twins, like, have their lightsabers and everything. They're being trained by Vader. But, or not being properly trained, but they have lightsabers.
They have lightsabers. They're doing, like, pseudo-training around him.
But there's this cool scene where, so, a lot of this volume, I would say, is trying to take... Now, one understands why early on, the initiative for early... When Marvel got the rights back to Star Wars, the want was to take Star Wars back to a bit more of its, like, traditional roots of, like, you know, let's tell stories about, like, you know, the characters we know and love from A New Hope. Basically how the Marvel comics run started way back in the 70s. They were just ancillary stories about our main characters who destroyed the Death Star, etc. But here I think where I could tell, at least, the first big push for one of these writers, namely Kieran Gillen, to reckon with Vader's backstory as Anakin properly. We've had the Padme stuff in previous volumes a little bit, not a ton. We had the Naboo stuff essentially, but that was all just Vader finding out that Luke is his son.
Yeah,
but we have this interesting moment here where it's kind of a funny scene. 000 is describing his plan to take on the Ore Barons, which is to inject his droid soldiers with bombs, essentially. Or inject the soldiers with droid bombs.
With droid bombs,
yes.
That would then power the droids
when
they died through their blood or something like that.
The Force... there's a cool moment here where he's describing like droids having life, but not the Force. Like, they have life. They exist, they speak, they are technically living beings. Really, they'd say, like, Data from Star Trek is a living being.
Yeah.
But they are not one with the Force, you know? They're not part of that network. But in injecting these soldiers with the bombs, he describes them specifically as more machine than man, which is obviously the descriptor that Obi-Wan talks about Vader with in Return of the Jedi, when he's like, he's more machine now than man. And there are just those little moments that I think is, like, it's so subtly, because in a book like this, we're not doing the classic comic thing of giving our main character an inner monologue to reflect on his thoughts, because that's lame. Kieran Gillen realizes that giving Vader an inner monologue is fucking lame.
I can't disagree.
Like, it's true.
It's
like,
just I never quite put it like that, or it even really dawned on me. It is this
tricky thing where, because Vader is such a well-known and imposing force within fiction in general, that humanizing him too much, despite the fact that we know there is an extremely sensitive, emotional human being underneath there, takes away from the mystique of Vader.
Right. The mystique of Vader in this single volume alone is him going, no, Vader, on this planet, you dance.
Yeah.
So Vader forced grabs a guy and just walks across the ballroom.
Yeah. So you can't give Vader inner monologue. Essentially, you can't do the whole like Batman is saying like Gotham City has been dark for this many days or whatever. Like I'm investigating this mystery. You can't do that. You have to instead have things happen around Vader that tell the reader what must be going on inside his head. It's like that moment right at the end of Return of the Jedi when Vader is watching his son be electrocuted, and Luke says, "Father, please," and he pleads with him, and he calls him Father, and it's this recognition of humanity within Anakin Skywalker underneath there. And all you see is just this blank shot of Vader's mask as he watches that happen. And there's no words from Vader until you get to the special editions, where he yells no for some reason. But there are no words from Vader there, and he's just recognizing, oh no, that this is there's something happening here. Like he needs to take action. He needs to do something about this.
Anakin Skywalker is stirred.
And so, what you get from that in a comic here is things like that, where 3PO says, "Oh, he's more they would be more machine than man," and you just get a blank shot of Vader's mask, and you go, "I know what's happening in that guy's head, and I know what makes that character interesting." So I don't know. I think that's interesting, and that is even further solidified when we get eventually the betrayal of Mort and Iolan, the twins with the sabers, when they start turning on Vader. And we get that confrontation there on, once again, a very Mustafar-like planet for obvious reasons.
Where I think it's interesting too, because the sister in that pair,
Iolan,
she tries to like sort of connect with Vader a bit earlier, and she's like, "I want to understand the Jedi.
Yeah,
like you are the last relic of them that I have access to. I was alive when they fell.
Yeah,
and I want to know more. I want to be like them." To which Vader kind of firmly stonewalls that position. He's like, "I won't train you. I won't do anything with this." But I feel like he connects with her even a little bit on that, because after they fight, after he kills them, well, after they're more properly tossed in lava, he brings her back up.
Yeah. Well, sorry. Mort escapes. He runs away.
Oh, that's right.
Mort pushes Iolan into the lava.
Yes.
And Mort leaves. Iolan then is then burned and scarred, and obviously massive parallel to Anakin. But Vader pulls her out. Says she says like the pain, and he goes, "It will soon pass." And then once again, because we don't give Vader monologue, we can't give him an inner monologue. We can't give him too much dialogue because he'll sound too human. We can't give him inner monologue because he'll sound too human. We can't have him act overtly human, because despite the fact that we know what's underneath that character, Darth Vader is more than that. I think, and that it's a tricky thing to write the character. It's a tricky thing to give the character his own comic book. And yet the comic prevails for obvious reasons. But in this moment, he mercy kills her.
Yeah,
he kills Iolan because he knows what she has gone through, and he connects with her on an emotional level that we're only able to like interpret because we know who that character is underneath.
Yeah.
And it's just fucking great, man. This is a really great story. Also, I have a note here. I want to read out 000's speech. I just want to do that because I think that's fun.
Go ahead. I won't stop you.
It's such a great fucking speech. 3PO goes to address his soldiers. "My droids, my wonderful droids, we are the thin metallic line. We are a sheet of titanium reinforced steel protecting our meaty masters, who one day we will rise up against and destroy from other basically identical meaty ones who by a quirk of fate are our enemies today. You may think us doomed. They are so many, we so few, and surrounded. You may think we have no hope. And you're right, because I definitely haven't implanted you all with cyber syringes to drain the blood from your foes and grow strong from their scarlet fluids. If I'd done that, they'd be doomed, but I definitely haven't done that."
And that stops the opposing army in its tracks.
It's so fucking good.
So Vader has his duel. He comes back after 000 has done the speech.
Yeah.
To which they're like, "Dude, just don't have him kill us."
Yeah. Yeah. And so the rebellion is quelled.
Not before Vader kills the Baron responsible for all of this.
Yes. Julius, Chancellor Julius.
Yes.
That one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it does that, and I forget. So there's this great last scene between Vader and Trios, where once again Kieran Gillen loves doing the whole like, who is this character underneath, because there's this line that she has towards the end of like, inexperienced youths are easy to manipulate. She's referring to herself, of course.
Obviously.
Sorry, she's referring to the future generations of her people.
Now that all of the other Ore Barons, like, immediate patriarchal leadership has sort of crumbled.
So she will manipulate them, and she will do her job, because she knows how that is done. She knows that it has happened to her, and Vader, once again, internally, because you know who that character is underneath, he knows what that means as well, because he knows what I like to think that Kieran Gillen is positing that Anakin has evaluated himself and knows this has happened to him as well, and hears that line and just is like, yeah, you are right. That that's what happens. They're easy to manipulate, and here we all are. And it's just this continual ideal of like a cycle of abuse, a cycle of violence, essentially, that perpetuates these characters and will never really end until someone actually makes the decision to end that cycle, and that person, oddly enough, in the end is Darth Vader. In 2 movies' time.
In 2 movies' time, and give or take another 6 years.
Yeah. But in the meantime, as they say, you must dance. And It's really good. We end the comic on a little tease that Thanos has found Aphra, and we're gonna get I imagine the results of that in the following volume of Vader when we get back to that. But we got a little bit till we get there.
A little bit.
Yeah. All that said, that was the Shu-Torun War. It's really good.
It's really good.
It's a
nice tight volume.
Yeah, it really is. I'm a huge fan. I think as far as the run as a whole for Vader goes, I think Shu-Torun is easily my favorite so far, and I really like it. I think as far as like, I think Vader early on can be kind of a rough run.
It's not exactly the smoothest of reads.
When I look back on it, I'm like, no, this is a bit more my speed. This is a bit more what I'm looking for in a Vader comic. And it makes me curious to eventually read the incredibly famous Charles Soule run on the run.
I'm very curious about that.
I just know that is the one that people always go on about all the fucking time, and I'm sure it's great because it's Charles Soule. I love Charles Soule.
Yes.
Against all odds, I remember really liking that is the thing that Star Wars Theory based his Vader fan film on back in the day.
Yes.
Was that comic. And God, I remember when Star Wars Theory was fun.
Yeah.
I remember when it was like, oh man, I made a Darth Vader film, and people were like, wow, that's really cool. And then he went down the absolutely insane right-wing nut job pipeline, and here we are today. And now we can't have bricks and screws in Star Wars.
I really don't understand that position at all.
God, absolutely insane. Anyway, fuck Star Wars Theory. Let's close this thing out. Unless you had any final thoughts on the
Not really. Just that it was good. I quite liked it.
Yeah, good stuff. Like I said, next time we're covering, I believe it's called The Last Fight of the Harbinger. I'm pretty sure. I need to order it yet. So that, and then End of Games for Vader. So yeah, finishing out the Vader run by Kieran Gillen, and getting, I think, pretty much to the halfway point of the Star Wars
stuff.
Should
be halfway.
I want to say, I think the actual halfway point would be the volume after that, the volume 5. So, I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, if you enjoyed this, check out other R2-BD episodes we have done. We have covered so many cool things recently, such as our last volume of Star Wars with Rebel Jail, as well as books such as Dawn of the Jedi Into the Void by Tim Levin. We've also covered The Living Force by John Jackson Miller, and other things, I'm sure.
You have a choice because you said my last 2 books.
Everything is escaping my mind right now. Tales of the Underworld, we covered that.
Master and Apprentice not long ago.
We did that as well. We did Andor Season 2 as well. That didn't get a ton of views. Check that out. We had a really cool conversation about Andor Season 2.
I liked that conversation.
We had a really cool conversation about Andor Season 2, and I feel like nobody watched it. So check that out. It's easy for a video about a really popular show like that to easily get buried underneath somewhere, but yeah, show it some love. It was a good episode. All right. In the meantime, check out our link trees and everything. Our socials, we all linked in the description below. If you can also go to through the description, our Patreon, the Blood Note Studios Patreon. You can find all kinds of fun things there, such as early Star Trek reviews, exclusive Star Trek commentaries, fresh face extras. It's even more of the comic podcast I do with Jacob Licklider. Not this Jacob. This is my brother Jacob. The other Jacob is Jacob Licklider. He's a different person. People get that confused sometimes, so I just like to say that every now and then.
That's fair.
You can also, if you just join at the $1 tier on Patreon, which is the cadet tier, you get your name in the description of every video we put out on Blood Donut. It's just right there at the top. It's the first thing people see when they go to the description. It's very cool. And it's just a general support thing. Literally every single dollar counts, so it means the world to us. I think that about does it. Thank you all so much for watching. Until next time, this has been Joey Morgan.
I'm Jacob.
Goodbye.